The Akai MPC One was one of the most popular standalone MPCs ever made, and today we've got
the MPC One Plus.
And we're going to find out why it's perfect for the studio, beatmakers and creatives everywhere. So let's dive right in.
Yeah, so this is MPC One Plus. Like I said, you've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth on board now. You've got extended storage, 16 gig, and it's got this incredible red color.
It does, yeah. As you say, if you're not aware of MPC, you're going to deal with this. Hello, it is Adam from Gear4music, and today I am joined by the incomparable, the man that needs no introduction, the man that lives, breathes, and exists in the world of Akai. It is Andy Mack.
Thank you,
How are
sir.
you doing today?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the drive and joining us here today.
Pleasure.
And also bringing good things with you.
Absolutely. So this is the brand new MPC One Plus. So let's dive in and I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Of course.
So MPC One, when we released that a couple of years ago now, it really changed everything for the platform. It gave us the ability to bring in a whole new audience to the platform. It was very affordable as well, but it had the same technology, the same OS as obviously the Live 2. So it just gave people the overall MPC experience in standalone, again, at a very affordable price. So we've now added Wi-Fi on here, and it makes so much more sense now. You can connect to Splice, so you can download all of your sounds directly into this. You can download all your plug-in instruments. So it makes the whole overall experience just seamless for you. We've also expanded the SSD inside, so you now get 16 gigabytes of storage inside. So it just gives you more space now. Plus you also get the SSD, and you also get the USB on the back as well to plug in all your own drives.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the main things, the upgrades that have come with the Plus are all hand in hand.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. So, I mean, you've got your Wi-Fi capabilities, you say, Splice.
Yeah.
You're now not having to look away and go to a laptop to do anything. You've got your Wi-Fi connection.
Exactly.
But because you're now going to Splice, downloading these things effortlessly, you need all the memory.
Yeah. And also, you know, the culture is expanding massively. Like we're living in a period now where there's so many new beat makers and producers coming onto the platform.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like when we look at, you know, the way that these, you know, this new generation are actually making money out of music. They're making money by licensing their beats through places like BeatStars, etc. And now, you know, having the ability to have these standalone devices to do that, it just makes the whole, I suppose, the process more compelling to physically touch a unit. And, you know, I've spent a lot of time recently in Atlanta, you know, with the younger generation, a lot of these FL guys who have been working inside laptops for a long time, who are now integrating MPC in with FL Studio. Yeah. And it's amazing seeing how they're gravitating towards this workflow that they were aware of, but had never experienced it. So that's been really a really fulfilling part of the role for me, is to connect with a whole new audience as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned it's a new generation that's not necessarily had access to MPC.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about the lineage of MPC and how it's a culture, how you've got all these iconic units, but it's not necessarily being the most accessible sometimes, which is, as you say previously, the MPC One coming in at the price point it did, it engrossed you into that area and to that MPC One lineage. So something like this, as you say, it's a whole new world for a lot of people.
No, it is, because you've got a lot of electronic producers that are using MPC now because of the modular side of things, of the CV gate, and also we'll show later, obviously, via one USB cable, you can have class compliant audio, MIDI multi, so you can connect up to 32 devices. When you have that type of technology, it expands your audience massively, right? It really does, because the workflow is still very powerful. But now, you know, when you integrate that with plug-in instruments and all of this incredible stuff on board, it really allows users to take advantage of the iconic workflow, but also modernizing it for today. Like, for instance, you know, one thing we're doing with the MPC One Plus as well, you'll be able to download a free plugin of your choice. And one of those plugins that you can select is the brand new, and I'll show you on here, is the brand new Jura, which, as you can see, it has this iconic look to it.
Absolutely.
That gives you some of the most amazing synth sounds. But when you start incorporating this with the sampling, the drums, chopping and splice, And what intrigued me of just connecting with a lot of the younger audience is the way that these beat makers and stuff are making tracks as well. Like their mindset is very different of how they approach making beats. And that really fascinated me as well, because I see why platforms like Splice and Loops and people using these kinds of resources have become so popular, because it makes the process so fast for them as well, and they can focus on the songwriting, etc. But it makes the beat making side of this really exciting and fun, because it's as music, I suppose, progresses, the way that you make the music also changes. There's a lot of lo-fi stuff going on. So obviously where we have stuff like Flavor Pro and stuff in here where you can emulate the old sound of vinyl and noise and saturation, these kind of effects are super crucial for the new wave of music that, has become a really kind of popular sound now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is one of the really, I think this is one of the best things that Akai do, is that, the past few years, the amount of work and time that has gone into plugins, these sounds, it is kind of taking reference of history and making it as authentic as possible, whilst making it accessible, user-friendly, giving people these options. And you mentioned the fact that you've been working with these younger guys with FL. Have they approached it in different ways to like an old MPC, like how they create beats?
No, for me, I was intrigued of their approach to making beats, okay? And I was looking at how we can integrate what we do with their workflow. And going out to Atlanta and understanding their workflow of how they do things, it was really fascinating to me, because introducing them to this platform, it really opened up their eyes to how they can get the basis of their tracks done very quickly. And then if they want to continue, they will go into FL and do whatever they need to do, or they go to Pro Tools to vocals. But I think it was an area where it hadn't been visited by them. It was kind of like they were doing their thing, but now integrating an MPC into their workflow, it opened up their eyes to the creativity, touching something, the dynamic approach, because it's, when you're playing a physical product like this,
it's different level of inspiration.
Completely, and that's what we captured on some of the videos that went live today. You'll see one of the guys, TNT. It was quite amazing being in that session, because it really was an eye opener for him, and to see the joy of someone using an MPC for the first time was quite overwhelming. Especially when I've met so many people over the years, and then you introduce this to a whole new generation, is really exciting for me.
Exactly that. And I mean, you showed me the video, and the video itself, I implore anyone to go and watch it. It's fantastic, because he says in the video how he uses FL normally, and just, you can see he gets silent. But in a good way. He's engrossed in it. He's just sat there fiddling. The multi-gesture touchscreen, obviously that's a staple in MPC now, but he's using that so fluidly, like he's used it forever.
Exactly, and that was, for me, that was exciting. So, let's go through, the process. And a lot of the videos I do, I come on and I do things super fast, right? And
but that's just your way. You just fly through.
But I thought, look, let's kind of break it down a little bit slower and just show you the process. And I'll use this Jura synth as well. Okay?
Yeah, of course,
because this is an absolute amazing synth engine. It really is, and it's. If you think you can actually download this free of charge with the unit as well, or you can choose Flavor Pro, whatever you want.
One of your options.
But so.
Yeah, one of the free options. I mean, it's not just limited to that, but obviously, Akai now, as we say, have put so much time into it. You can get more.
What it is as well, because for instance, if I go to menu preferences, so this will just come up here. There we go. So now when you go to activate plugins, anything that you haven't downloaded, you can just activate directly from here.
Ready to go.
Here's Jura. We can go into Air Flavor Pro, Air Delay, etc. So if I want to add the Air Delay Pro, just press activate, and now that will go and retrieve my account, and then that will give me full activation. There we go. And it's now running. Quick as that.
Easy and
cool. So, as we progress and more plugins come out and stuff like that, this makes a whole lot of sense. Let's kind of break it down at a slower pace, and we can see how we can build all these elements. And I'll use the Jura synth. So what I do, 92B BPM. We're going to do 8 bars, and I'll go to bank C, and we'll start off with just a really nice road loop. And then on that, I've used some Flavor Pro, so we can add some dropouts and vinyl noise, just to grunge it up a little bit. And then we'll go to track 2, and this will use the Gear synth. So what I can do, I can jump through my different octaves using the banks. So now really, you want to just feel a melody just over that loop, just to get you going. And this is obviously all in key. We go to pad performance mode, we set our key.
Yeah.
So now you've put that down, we can go into the notes, okay? And again, the piano roll is really, really important because you can see everything you played.
Yeah. And effortlessly navigate. You know, you still got your 7-inch multi-gesture touchscreen, which is
so these 2 notes here, I can just take these down. And we can bring those down there. So now we've got a bassist there going. We think about what's the next element. So next elements, really I want to put down is my hi-hats. So again, there's some really quick ways of doing this. So we can hold note repeat, just put it on 1/8, and then we can, right, doesn't sound too exciting at the moment. So find the hi-hat that we want to use. We use that one.
Yeah.
Now, the purpose of this is that we can use some of the key features actually on the piano roll. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So now we're going to zoom in, okay, and we're going to go to here, and we're going to go into ratchet, okay? So there's my ratchet here. So now I'm just going to draw some stuff in. So this will give me time divisions. So as we go through this,
just brings that flavor to it.
Yeah, straight away.
Yep.
Now I could do that this way. So let's go again. And this time I'll use it with note repeat.
Yep, and you got your velocity there as well, so obviously you know you got sensitivity.
Now, there's some other things that we need to do as well. So we need to go to Add, Bank 4, Pad 4, and we'll go to Tuning. So now what I can do, some of the classic things that the younger generation are doing, we can just, there we go. So now you're in that whole kind of like hi-hat, you're working the hi-hats for the rhythm, okay? So, and this is a really important part because like watching the process of how, and again, it's really easy to do. We're just looking at the screen, we're drawing things in, right? So once you got it to that stage, we just move on and then we can start layering our kick down. And you hear the bounce already.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just going to put this onto 16.
Yeah, everything just flowing.
2, 3, 4. So just some hi-hats over the top. And now we'll add some kind of percussion over the top. And now I'm going to go to, I'm going to add some different kind of like vocal loops over the top now. So already now, right, all I'm going to do is now take an 808. So one of the key things, especially, again, coming back from Lanto, is how they use the 808 in conjunction with their kick and snare and stuff like that. So it's kind of a bit of a tutorial at the same time, because it opened up my eyes to so many things.
We'll absolutely take tutorials.
Lovely.
100%.
Oh, there you go. Because this is a new masterclass at the same time.
We're all learning here.
So to obviously put your 808 in tune, you want to go up the scales and figure out your notes. So once you've kind of got those pitching, so then we can go down. So we can go. Yeah, you like
the little slide. Whoa.
You know that those notes for me just completely changed the beat.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things is when you go to edit and you go into portamento, you need to add the glides as well, because if you don't have the glides, they don't sound right, you know, simply. So let's just lay that down. And one of the real crucial aspects as well, again, it's just what you can learn from like this whole new generation of beat makers, is the way that the relationship between the kick and the 808 is so crucial on records nowadays, you know. So so you got one, so there, so we go.
Stop it.
And you hear, you've got that punch, you've got that energy straight away, because where you're placing it. Now, if you want to add the kick in again, we can go back to our kick and we can go, okay, so we've got our kick on here. So we could go, let's say, add a, there. And we'll add another note. Right? Then go back to the 808. So you're working the two together. So we go.
Yeah, and that obviously comes back in.
There you go.
Yeah, because it's coming in with a hi-hat
and then
as well.
What I've also added, I've added some cool effects on here as well. So now, from there we can go to track 8, go to a plugin. So now you're just finding different melodies to fit in the pockets, you know. So we'll put that down. And we're done, right? We're done. So now we're going to track mute. This is where it gets fun. So now you're kind of feeling the beat.
Yep, use that cue link, have fun with it.
So now what I've done there, I've gone into my main mode, I've gone into cue links, okay, and I've gone into project. So in project, I've assigned a whole bunch of things to the master. So I've got some, tape delay and all kinds of stuff and some filters. And it just adds that kind of real-time vibe to your track 100%. As well. And what I did actually, it was funny, like I was working on something a few nights ago and I was just basically just tracking it straight into Logic, just flying, doing stuff on the fly. And it's great because you get that whole live sense of what you're doing. So now, really, once you've kind of built out your track, you can go in and edit it and do whatever you want. But really, what's coming out is hitting hard. And then we just go into our track mute and we can just think how we want to start it off. Now, that synth as well, we can go into track 2, which is here. We go to track 2 real quick. Let's go track 2, which is there. And I'm just going to launch these for a second. So we can go into this, go to our main, filters, and I can change my cue links to follow this screen so we can... so we can give it a bit more bite.
Yeah.
And then we got some classic chorus, and with unison. So again, we'll go back to our project, and now I'm in project, I can use these to control the mix.
Yeah.
There you go, stuff like that. And you can assign the cue links to do whatever you want, but they will track everything that you have on the screen as well. So, my point is that, when you're making tracks, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can do the conventional way of taking samples, vinyl, straight in, chopping stuff up on the pads, but there's also this whole new wave of generation of how they're using loops and stuff and manipulating things, which is super fascinating, blending it in with synth engines and all of this stuff. And like you say, now, when you go onto a track, it's so easy for you to get ideas, just to build up any style of music that you want. And with something like Jura, you've got 500 presets in this thing. This thing is an absolute beast.
Yeah.
We can go to our sounds page.
And you know what? Those 500 you have will all be incredible presets as well.
Oh yeah, what we do, obviously, let's talk about the MIDI multi and stuff, of connecting devices to it. If we grab the MPK Mini Plus, which is over there.
We're back. We got too engrossed in this, the sounds. We all got excited, and we've now brought in an MPK Mini Plus plug-in here, because obviously, as you mentioned, multi-MIDI, MIDI multi, available.
That's right. So as soon as you plug in back, we're using the hub, so we can connect some more devices.
Yeah, a couple more, up to 32.
To preferences, and then as soon as you're in MIDI, anything you plug in will just populate on the screen here.
Yeah.
So I'll just go back to Jura. So what I'll do, let's just go through some of the sounds.
Yeah.
So let's go to hold. So we can go in, tweak some of these. I think, anyone who's into the whole, synth heads, they're gonna really like this sound because it really is authentic. We can go into the classic, add some more chorus. We can go into unison.
Yep.
We can speed up the arpeggiator as well. We can change the range.
I'm liking that. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. And we'll go back into the filter.
Incredibly reactive as well.
So yes, and let's go into let's go here. We'll go into some of the pads as well. It's got some amazing pads in here as well. It's so easy to edit. And you can hear
it's just such a nice swell.
Yeah. So, and again, you just want to put a quick idea down. We just do 4 bars here. And we can go to some drums. So maybe if I find some kits, let's find some kits here. I've got some stuff. There we go. And you're there straight away. And then we can just go to another plugin, another instance of it, go around and go back into sounds, go back into Jura. And then maybe we want to do a drone, go down the octave. So let's go
Effortless.
down. You could go on for days.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there's so many lovely sounds in here. Really, we'll go to some other pads. Let's go back to edit and we'll go. So really, when you sum it up, you have all of these different types of plugins, you have all of this sample engine, you have the workflow, the drum grid. There's so many aspects of this that move you away from a DAW. Yeah. And this is why, the MPC range is being so successful, because it caters for so many different types of users. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it caters for the older generation who are into like sample chops, vinyl, the newer generation, electronic musicians. But also, like you were saying earlier to me when I first arrived, the whole kind of resurgence of the jungle scene as well, people getting into like the, I suppose, pivoting from drum and bass back into that kind of like real upfront vibe. Mm-hmm. There's so many different aspects of production that benefit from this kind of workflow, and then integrating it with all of the synth engines, it just gives people more power to create music.
Yeah, it does. And I think one of the key words that you said there was integration. Like, we've used this in standalone mode. Yeah. It's not a laptop in sight.
No.
But, the CV gates, the way you can connect hardware and stuff, this doesn't have to just be your be-all and end-all. This can easily integrate and be the centerpiece of any studio setup.
You can go into controller mode, you can run the desktop MPC2 software, you can run it as a plugin. So again, what I was saying about FL Studio earlier, these producers and beat makers can make their beats standalone, then they can open this as a plugin inside FL, and then they can basically play the same beat in there and then track everything out, whatever they want. Same in Logic, same in Ableton. I run mine between standalone and Logic, So you get the best of both worlds. And at the end of the day, we live in a technology, era now, which is quite breathtaking, really,
Yeah,
what you
100%.
think is like, I remember the days of what I'd have to do to track stuff in. And it used to, but now being able to drag and drop files is seamless. And because at the end of the day, you don't get creative block, you can just keep moving forward and you utilize all of this technology around you. But at the end of the day, the beauty about having all of this technology is that it keeps you creating fast.
Yeah.
And again, you can access so many different ways that people make music now. Like I said, we were talking, people make stuff from synths, MIDI chord packs. There's so many different ways that you can access sound now. So yeah, it makes the process super fun and enjoyable.
It does, yeah. And I think one of the benefits of the MPC range as a whole is the Akai support.
Yeah.
Akai don't just release, it's done. There are regular updates. There's regular plugins. There's regular instruments that are coming. As you say, the technology is just endless.
But also, one of the reasons why this is a great conversation, the color for me looks fantastic. It's just vibrant. It's really fresh looking.
You're not losing it, are you? It's this Akai red. Like if you're putting this in your studio, you just kind of let you walk in. Yes, there it is.
If you buy a Ferrari, you get it in red. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. When you're a kid, you draw a car.
It's the thing,
in
and
red.
it's just it's funny. The look of it, it's just sensational. But the thing is, putting that aside, when you think back to when the One came out and all of the updates that have come out of what it can do today versus what it could do yesterday, it's a completely different beast altogether. There's so many great features that have been added. It really allows you to be very fluent and flexible with the kind of music that you want to make, but also with the plugins and features that we're releasing and instruments, it's making sure that it's always staying relevant. It's always staying to the new trend that's going on musically. And that's what all of the younger generation listen to. They're all listening to different types of music, and you've got to make sure that your products can make those kind of sounds, because if people are using lo-fi kind of like plugins and everything, if you don't have those things, people can't make that kind of music with it. Yeah. So all of a sudden they start to get barriers, and this is one of the things where we've really pushed the platform forward, is keeping it relevant.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about MPC is the fact it doesn't just rest on this insanely rich heritage. It's not just, we did the 3000, we made this. This is progressing it. This is taking into account a new generation. People that use different softwares, it's not just, it's MPC or nothing. It's integrate this, make music with it.
There is, you've got so many customers that have grown up on this platform for so many years. But then you've also got to remember that there's a whole new generation that aren't aware of the platform, that need to learn about touching hardware. What does hardware give you from a creative perspective, And, this is one of the things that I do is being able to show this to a whole new generation, which again, it really excites me so much to be able to do that. So so this is MPC One Plus. Like I said, you've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth on board now. You've got extended storage, 16 gig, and it's got this incredible red color.
It does, As you say, if you're not aware of MPC, you're going to be with this.
And like I said, there's some incredible videos that have just come out with some of the FL style producers, which is fantastic seeing those guys actually use an MPC pretty much for the first time,
Yeah.
So super exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. And Andy, thank you for coming and showing us again.
Awesome.
Thank you for the travel.
No,
thank you for coming
no
up.
problem.
And it is incredibly exciting, and I can't wait to see these just dotted everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can't miss them with this Akai red.
Cool, man.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Like, subscribe, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Bye.